Hey kiddos, I wanted to do a little refresher video about elements, compounds, and mixtures, which we talked about before we were sent home. So hopefully you remember that elements contain only one type of atom. They cannot be broken down either chemically or physically, and they can exist either as atoms or molecules. Now you'll remember from the work we've been doing with the periodic table that there are 118 elements that you can find on the periodic table. Next is compounds. Compounds contain two or more different elements. Those elements are chemically bonded together. That means that they were stuck together through a chemical reaction. Because of that, they can be broken down chemically. And when you combine two or more different elements into a compound, because they're going through a chemical reaction, that means that the compound has different properties than the elements did when they were by themselves. The third type of composition is a mixture. Mixtures contain two or more different elements or compounds. The substances are blended but not chemically bonded. That means that they can be taken apart physically. And when you mix the two of them together, when you mix two different substances together to make a mixture, it still keeps the properties of the original substances. For example, if I make salt water, it still looks like water and it tastes salty. So now that we remembered what they are, let's talk about when we're looking at different examples, how we can tell what is what. And the first way that we're going to do this for the next couple of assignments is going to be looking at pictures. So when I'm looking at a picture of an element, all of the pieces are the same shape and the same color. So here I have all yellow circles, all blue triangles, or purple pentagons. Now you can see here that these purple pentagons are touching each other, and that means that they are chemically bonded. I can have two atoms together that make a molecule, and as long as they are the same element, then it's still an element. If I have a compound, I have pieces are mixed colors or shapes, but they come in the same patterns. And the pieces actually are touching each other in the picture to show that they're chemically bonded. So here I have some circles and triangles that are touching each other, and all of them, each combination has one circle and one triangle. Here I have compounds. These are similar to H2O, where I have one green element and two orange elements, and they're touching each other, and I have all three of these together in the same pattern. If I have a mixture, that means that I have different colors, shapes, or patterns. So I can have a bunch of different colors, I can have the same color but a bunch of different shapes, or I can have a little bit of everything. Here I have different colors, different shapes, and different patterns. The other way that I can look at figuring out what something is, if it's an element, a compound, or a mixture, is if I'm looking at the chemical formula. And once we get better at being able to tell these apart, this is how you're really going to spend most of your time examining them. So if I'm looking at the chemical formula of an element, it's only going to have one capital letter. And this is why I've been nagging you so much about when we use the element symbols, you have to make sure that it starts with one capital letter, and then if there's a second letter, that it's lowercase. So for example, here I have fluorine, just one capital letter. Sodium is Na, and the N is capital, so that's one element. O2 and H2 are called diatomic molecules. Now, they don't like to exist on their own in nature, so you're usually going to see them together. But because it's only one capital letter, these are all hydrogens here, or these are all oxygens, that still makes it an element. A compound is going to have more than one capital letter, but the elements are together. So when I write the chemical formula for one of these, I have NaCl. I have two chemicals here, two elements, but they're stuck together. I have H2 and O. I have more than one capital letter, but they're stuck together. I have C6H12O6. Again, more than one capital letter, but they're stuck together. When I have a mixture, I'm either going to have no formula, like if it says tap water or sand plus water, or I'm going to have a chemical formula that might have more than one capital letter, but it's going to have an addition sign combining the two compounds. That's it for the review. Next up, I'm going to make a video that shows you how to do the card sorts.